Okay, the purpose of this video is to show you how to import data that comes from an online survey into UCINET. And I've got an Excel file here that was produced by Lime Survey. And let's have a look at the format. The rows are the different respondents, so there were 25 respondents. The columns are all the questions in the survey, including what is your name, and then here's the network question. Which of the people attending class would you say you were acquainted with prior to the first class session? And there are also node attributes such as your department and your gender. So I guess the first thing I would do is I would grab the respondent's name, and I'm just going to go down to 25 here, copy it to the clipboard, dump it into a new sheet, then go back and grab the survey questions, the first network question, copy it, put it next to the informant's name, and now I need to do a little cleaning up, a little editing, and we'll try to do that in an automated way. So we can see, for example, that the names at the top on the columns have a lot of extra stuff on them. They have the entire question listed. So let's get rid of all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to press Control-H, search and replace, and I'm going to find anything after a comma, so comma asterisk, and replace it with nothing. Do a replace all, 44 replacements, great. I also want to change anything at the left bracket to nothing. Done. And let's change these yeses and nos to ones and zeros. And here we want to be a little careful because somebody's name could contain the letters YES or NO. We don't want to change their name, so I'm going to choose match entire cell contents here. Do a replace all. Change the nos to zeros. Replace all, okay. And that's it. Oh, well, we do have the issue of people who didn't fill out their name. We're going to have to lose those data, and we should put these in the same order as the columns. So I'm going to go to data, and just to make sure that they've got, yep, my data has headers, it says that. Okay, so I can just choose the first column to sort on. Great. Go ahead and delete these data. Although it would be interesting to try and figure out who they were. I bet we could do that. And let's see, I need to get a full picture of this, so I'm going to make these columns a little smaller. Great. Now I can see that we have 21 respondents, but there are 25, because that's Z, which is the 26th letter, names on the roster. So some people didn't fill out the survey. What to do about, oh, and I see that Wang here has two identical rows, so I'll just get rid of one of those. I also notice that there is a Paul Ditterline here. There's a Ditterline and then a Paul Ditterline over here. So something's wrong with that. Well, we should probably change this Ditterline to just Ditterline to make it last names like all the others. And then we'll get rid of this one over here. And probably should sort this again. Great, okay. Now, we could at this point just delete the people who did not fill out the survey. Delete those columns. I think before we do that, I'm just going to put this into UCINET. Sort of pretend like it's a two-mode matrix. The row people are selecting the column events, essentially. So I'm going to copy that to the clipboard, starting UCINET. I'll drop it into the DL editor. Tell it that this is a matrix. And save it. I'll call this prior acquaintance, prior ac 2 mode, because the rows aren't quite matching the columns. All right, let's just make sure that it read in. Looks good, 24 columns, 20 rows. I could then get a picture of this using NetDraw. I'll open it, the open with a U. And there we have it. Looks like a 2-group structure. There's a group over here, there's a group over here on the left. There are 2 bridge people. Now notice in this 2-mode representation, every name occurs twice. Borgatti, Borgatti. So it's probably not ideal. Wickline, so we have nodes choosing themselves here. Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and remove the columns of the people that didn't fill out the survey. So as we read along here, Choi, Ditterlin, Fagan, Jonas. Jonas is not appearing in the row, so we'll delete that column. Kennedy and Larson do not appear. Sung does not appear. And the rest looks okay. All right, so that should be the 1-mode matrix. I'll go back to UCINET, back to the DL editor. I'll clear that, drop it in, save this, call it prior acquaintance. Close that, display it, choose prior acquaintance. 20 by 20, that's good. I'll close this, and I'm going to now open it in NetDraw. So I'll open another copy of NetDraw. Open with a U for a UCINET file. Choose prior acquaintance. And there's our network. I might use the G followed by the lightning bolt to get a pretty picture. In some ways it's not as clear as the 2-mode representation. Even though the 2-mode had people in twice, it made it more evident that there's a group on the right, which corresponds to the School of Management, and a group on the left, which looks like it's mostly public health. But this is the simpler picture. Okay, well, that's it. Now you know how to do it.